Have you ever struggled to learn a language? What if I told you that there's a method that feels both natural and effective, just like learning your first language all over again? Hi there, I'm Sloan, a no-sado kid turned language learner on the quest to find the best ways to learn a language. In this series, we're going to be exploring the Refold Method in depth and figuring out if it can fit into my and your language learning tool belt. And stick around to the end of the video, where I'll reveal the language I'm going to be learning. Now, you might be wondering, Sloan, what even is the Refold Method? The Refold Method is a step-by-step approach to language acquisition that mirrors how we learned our first language. It focuses on immersion, building understanding first, and speaking only when you're ready. And there's a big emphasis on comprehensible input rather than grammar drills or vocab lists, and is a more gradual, natural way to learn a language. And if you're wondering what comprehensible input is, comprehensible input-based language learning is characterized by listening to or reading content in your target language. Think listening to podcasts or watching kids shows, or even beginner-friendly YouTube content. And the entire idea behind why it works is it's the same way that we learn our first language. Just being surrounded by the language, that way we can gradually understand. And over time, your brain just kind of naturally picks up those patterns and builds up that fluency. Now, the Refold Method has 6 steps to guide you on your way to fluency, and we're going to go over the first 4 today. The first step is going to be building your foundation. That's when you're going to be learning the alphabet, the sounds of the language, when you're going to be learning the first 1,000 words and listening to very beginner-friendly content. The main focus here is just getting used to the sounds of the language and focusing on understanding the general gist of very easy content. And then step 2, you're going to immerse yourself. You're going to be reading a whole lot more. This is where you're going to be making your new language part of your daily life and routine. The ultimate goal here is just to expose yourself to natural language in context. And step 3, you're going to be focusing on developing an active understanding. You're going to be really honing in on your listening skills here. You should be starting to recognize patterns and grammar structures intuitively, and you should be building your comprehension without having to overthink all the rules. And step 4 is speaking when you're ready. Now, after you have immersed yourself enough and you are fluent in your reading and listening skills, then it should feel natural and far less stressful to actually start speaking your language. And you can start practicing your speaking through shadowing or language exchanges or guided conversations. At this point, you're going to be focusing on your fluency and your flow rather than perfection. Now, the theory behind why the Refold Method works is because the Refold Method is backed by language acquisition research. Your brain is naturally wired to pick up patterns and meanings when you're exposed to meaningful input. And it's the same way we learned our first language. And it also doesn't hurt that you get to learn by watching shows or streams or listening to music, things that you're already doing in your native language. So now that you know how the Refold Method works, I'm excited to share that in this series, we will be learning, drumroll please, Dutch. Now, there's a few reasons why I chose Dutch as the language that I was going to do this experiment with. First of all, I have a little bit of a background in learning Germanic languages. I spent 3 years in high school learning German, and I did get up to a pretty decent level, about a B1. And even though I haven't used that language in a long time, there's still some words and grammar structures that are still familiar to me, and I don't think that it is going to be too far of a leap to transfer that over. And another reason is because I do have a friend from the Netherlands who I do want to go visit someday and be able to speak their language while I'm there. Now, in the next video, I'll show you how to find the perfect comprehensible input materials for your level. Now, this is where the fun begins, so don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any of the future updates. And remember, learning a language isn't just a skill, it's an adventure. Let's start on this journey together. Blah, blah, blah.